what a lovely day in Eichenwald. The birds are singing, the guns are blazing. Hey, Diva. Oh my goodness, you need healing! Ahoy, Buccaneers and Buccarinas. My name be Captain Yugioh, and welcome back to the channel. I just thought I would take some time, relax here in Eichenwald, and really think about whatever happened to Zenyatta, because it seemed like he was such a big part of the game. And, you know, I wanted to talk about his place, especially nowadays, and all the changes he's gone through, because he's gone through a lot of changes. So before anything else, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Dang it! So Zenyatta in day one was not the strongest support. In fact, he was the weakest, which is not too different from how he is today, but like weaker, if you can imagine that. Like, he used to have 150 health. His Transcendence was not as powerful. His orbs traveled very slow. The only thing that was worth playing about him was his Orb of Discord, which increased the damage taken by targets by 50%, which was really good if they actually got to the target. Obviously, he got buffed up from there, and then he became fairly prominent on the competitive scene. In fact, he was one of the biggest parts of the meta for a long time until the GOATS nerfs that came around, and eventually, now that we're in role queue, it's kind of like, well, what's going on? So I decided I would play some Zenyatta, of course, because I used to play him quite a bit back in the day, and just see, you know, his strengths, his weaknesses. Is he still a viable hero even in this day and age of crazy heroes and flankers and all that? So let's take a look at all of that. Okay, so here we are on Hollywood, point B. We just lost point A. And there are a couple things I have to keep in mind here, because there is a Widowmaker who's trying to shoot my head off. And there's also a monkey bouncing around. He actually recently just killed me in this first part of it. And there's also a Tracer that I will eventually see up. So one of the things about Zenyatta to really learn about is that he is incredibly dependent on two things: positioning and awareness, which is kind of like playing a tank, essentially. You have to be aware of where you are in the world, and you have to be aware of what's going on around the world. So, in regards to Zenyatta, this is basically means I have to be aware of the fact that the Widow, seen right there just shooting up into the air, is going to try and shoot my head off. So obviously if I stay behind the shields, I should be fine. But then I also have to keep in mind that there's that Tracer who I just see right there, and she's going to start flanking me. So now that's in the back of my mind. I have to start thinking, okay, I got to keep an eye on this Tracer, because otherwise she's going to try and sneak around, kill me and Ana in the back lines, and then our tanks are not going to have any support, our damage isn't going to have any support, and that's going to be a bad deal for everybody. So as long as I'm aware of the Tracer in the back line, and keeping tabs on my heroes up in the front line, keeping them all up and safe and the like, and not dying to Tracer here, like, you know, almost could have done that there, then we pretty much have a good situation going. Luckily, Harmony Orb is very useful for this sort of thing, and pretty much, it's one of those things that's like, if you can rally around your teammates and get them to help you out with this sort of thing, then you can easily deal with these kinds of things. The problem with Zenyatta is that he's extremely vulnerable to all sorts of things. Like, he gets attacked by a Winston and then is shot by a Widow, or Doomfist assaults him and then Zarya blows him up, or you get hit by Echo Bombs, or Ana shots, or you get hit by McCree! But that's not to say that Zenyatta is useless. Far from it, actually. His Discord Orb is very useful, of course, not only for the damage increasing aspect, but you can also use it to keep track of your enemies. Like, just take a look at me keeping track of this Wrecking Ball over on Anubis, point A. Basically, just because I have that Discord Orb on him, I'm able to keep track of his position and be aware that, hey, you know, he's trying to flank us and get onto point A to try and get a cap. And obviously we can't let him do that. So by putting the Discord Orb on him, I'm able to keep track of his position, keep myself aware, and thus, by extension, keep my teammates aware just of what's going on in the back lines with this Wrecking Ball. Because if my teammates are aware of that, then we can more actively, when he tries to dive onto the point and take a cap or something like that, take a third, then it's like, okay, well, I got the Discord Orb on him immediately, and we can deal a lot of damage to him. Or, heck, even I can deal a lot of damage to him. I'm not going to solo a Wrecking Ball, though. That's just because damage dealing Zenyatta over here is a master over on the support line of dealing damage. He is not a one-man army by any stretch of the imagination. Most tanks will one-man army and beat him anyway. But I'm able to expend a lot of the Wrecking Ball's resources, which is going to force him to fall back when the rest of my team is immediately informed that, hey, he's on the back line. And by the time his teammates have come in to take the point, we've already killed most of them. And that's really the best part about this, is that just being able to keep my teammates not only informed, but also assist them in dealing more damage to the enemy team, well, that's where Zenyatta really excels. That's where his biggest strengths come into play. Okay, so now we're on point B, same map, same match, and basically I wanted to grab this one because this actually is a good showcase of Transcendence beyond just healing. Like, Transcendence is the strongest heal in the game, period. There's no healing strength that is stronger than this. But you also can use it for a lot more than just that, obviously, because you are an invincible hero that moves around twice as fast as you normally do. So as our Rhine here gets antied and the Wrecking Ball sets up these mines, I use Transcendence to not only heal up the Rhine, but charge through on the point, go through the mines, and start contesting. And that puts us back on the point. By virtue of that action alone, by that making that move, I give our team a chance to contest the point, to push onto the point, and not only beat the rest of the enemy team that's on the point, but even as their monkey comes back for ulting, we basically are able to take care of him easily, and we win this matchup. And that's the great thing about Transcendence, is that you can use it for so much more than just healing your teammates. Like, take for instance this part over here on Hollywood, where we're getting beaten back, I die with Transcendence in the pocket, it's not looking very good. We're using up some of our ultimates, our heroes are dying, and it's hard to tell if we're actually going to be able to bring this one around. At this point, I could use Transcendence to come out, heal up our team, put us in the fight again. But I choose not to because, well, I mean, look, by the time I'm even out here, we've already won. There's no need to use Transcendence. We don't have that big of a deal. We've already pushed them back. And it's good that I don't use it then, because now, when in this part, when we're getting attacked by the Reinhardt, he uses Shatter, he gets the Orisa, that's when I decide to use Transcendence to save our Ana, but most importantly, save our Reinhardt. So that means we basically are able to continuously fight now. We're back in it at this point. We're able to push them back again. So having the discipline to know when to use the Transcendence ult is part of how you play Zenyatta. It's how you can make the most impact with an ult that is so powerful. I guess ultimately what I'm trying to say about Zenyatta is that despite all of the glaring weaknesses, and despite the new roster, and despite characters like Wrecking Ball and Tracer and Widowmaker and Echo as of late all being present in the cast, if you're able to capitalize on a lot of the strengths, a lot of the stuff that makes Zenyatta unique, a lot of the stuff that makes Zenyatta a good hero, then you can still get some major value out of him. Like, as long as you're playing, you know, to your surroundings, as long as you're aware of what's going on, about who's attacking you, and you're able to utilize Transcendence well, you're able to put that Discord orb on things, you can still get some major value out of Zenyatta, and I think that just means that gives me a lot of hope for the guy. And I've recently heard that he's getting his nerf from the GOATS era reverted, so he'll be able to do 30% more damage with that Discord, and that's great. And maybe there's, you know, some change where it's like they lower his damage output to compensate for that or something like that. But it's something that gives me a lot of hope in regards to Zenyatta and utilizing him and playing with him. And I think that's the best thing you could ask for with, you know, any hero in the roster. I think that's the best part. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this gameplay stuff. I hope to do some more stuff kind of like this. And yeah, I think this is kind of neat. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take it easy, peeps. Here!